My dear students, we are again here to discuss about the various factors which are affecting the marketing strategy, the operations of an organization. We are studying this chapter of the subject of pharma marketing management, which is an elective for the B.Pharm final year students, and I am Dr. Majumdar, working as professor and director of Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology, Greater Noida. Now, in the previous class, I have discussed with you about what are the various micro factors which affects the process of the existence of the organization, marketing of the organization. If we just let us quickly recapitulate, there were two categories of factors. One which is within the organizations, which we are calling as the internal factors, mainly the employees, the internal stakeholders. One which is within the organizations, which we are calling as the internal factors, and the other one was the external factors, which is categorized into two broad divisions. One was the micro. The micro ones are those which are very close proximity of the company, very close proximity of the organization, which we need to consider, the mainly the supplier, the public, the customer, the intermediaries, because they are having the maximum bargaining power. The customers are paying for your price, the intermediaries or suppliers are giving you the raw materials. So, they have a tremendous bargaining power with the organization. If they are not providing the right quality of items or right quality of raw material at a proper price, automatically it will really be very difficult for the organization to survive. Because if the price, the suppliers are charging at a very high price, automatically the price of the finished product will be more. And if the price of the finished product is more, the customers may not accept your product, because you always remember in the market there are so many companies, so many organizations which are operating. They are ready to offer the product at a lower cost. Why will the people or the customer purchase for your product? So, those factors which are very closely related to the organizations we had considered earlier as the micro environmental factors. Next, we are considering about the macro environment. Macro environment refers to those factors which are external to the company's activity and do not concern the immediate environment. They are not in direct close proximity of the organization. However, they are external to the company and they have a very strong power to affect your organization. So, macro environment, it comprises of the general forces that affects the overall business activities of the organization in the market. They are the general factors, they are the forces which have the power to affect the performance, the existence of the organization in the market. Macro environment refers to those factors which are external forces in the company's activity and do not concern with the immediate environment. Basically, we are calling them to be as the uncontrollable factors. We are calling them as the uncontrollable factors, which you cannot control. That is, those factors which are uncontrollable outside the organization, they are under macro environmental factors. These uncontrollable factors indirectly affects the concern's ability to operate in the market effectively. Let me give you one very small example. A particular government is operating today. As you know, every 5 years there is an election in India. So, another government is coming after 5 years due to election, after being elected by the people. Now, that particular government may not follow the policies, the regulatory guidelines which has been framed by the previous government. They may go for a change. Now, this change of government was not known to the company, neither to the people. So, they have framed a strategy keeping in mind which the previous government has framed, the regulatory guidelines, but suddenly there is a change in the government who are changing their export import policies, the regulatory policies which are having an influence on the company itself. There are various other factors. This is I have given you only one particular example. Another is, say for example, the technological advancement. In the previous days, we never think of any mobile telephonic devices. We had smaller glass cubicles where there was a landline phone available. We used to call to our relatives by going to those STD booths. Gradually, with technological advancement, there is development of mobile phone. Initially, Nokia was the market leader, but Nokia did not upgrade themselves with the change in technology. What happened? Nokia, this company was gradually forced into oblivion. Their phones becomes outdated. The customer started opting for the newer touch phones. Samsung, Apple gradually entering into the mobile market. So, this is another example which shows the technological advancement not within your organization control, but it has a direct impact on the existence of the company. Why? Because technological advancement leads to a product being obsolete, and if you are not updating your product, you will lose the market. Let me give you another example from the automobile sector. Hindustan Motor was manufacturing Ambassador for years together. Hindustan Motor was manufacturing Ambassador car for years together. They were having an absolute monopoly. But gradually, there was a technological advancement which this Hindustan Motor did not foresee, or in other words I should say that they are not accommodating to the technological advancement. Gradually, Maruti comes into the automobile sector. There are a huge number of automobile players who are coming into the sector. Honda has already into the market. Now, they are producing cars which are very luxurious, very comfortable at an affording price, which Hindustan Motor could not do it. So, what happens is the number of Ambassador cars which were sold, they are gradually diminishing across a period of time, and ultimately you see at the end of the day Hindustan Motor has to be wrapped up. And the other companies like Maruti, like Suzuki, like Honda, they are now the market players in the automobile sector. So, these factors which are not within your control, technological advancement, economic factors, we are calling as the uncontrollable factors. So, let us study them individually. Sorry. The macro factors we mainly classify under 4 divisions: demographic, political, social and technological. Now, these again are subdivided into the major factors include the demographic factor, the economic factor. Today, the nation is almost being wrecked by the corona infection. Many people have lost their jobs. There has been a drip in the economy, and the government is trying to produce all sort of support to revive the economic loss which they have suffered. The other factors include the physical, technological, political and legal factors and socio-cultural factors. Let us study individually. Demography, the term demography means the study of population in terms of size, density, location, age, gender, occupation, etc. These factors have a great impact on the marketing decisions. For example, a growth in population means there will be an increase in the human need, and moment there is an increase in the human need, there is a chance of the expansion of the market. Moment there is a growth in the human population, there is an expansion of the market, because there is a more need required by the people. More the young generations are there, more will be the requirement for products of their choice. So, demographic factor is one of the very important factors which considers or influences the marketing of an organization. It helps in preparing the geographical marketing plans, household marketing plans considering the age, the sex and the region. The demographic factor influences the behavior of the consumers, which in turn have a direct impact on the marketplace. See, the behavior of a senior citizen customer, the likeness of the senior citizen people is never matching with the likeness of a young kid, the likeness of the young population. So, they have a very significant impact. The marketing team has to consider them very carefully. A marketer must communicate with the consumers, anticipating the problems, respond to the complaints which are made and make sure that the firm is operating absolutely properly without any hindrance. It must be a very smooth sailing boat. The next factor is the economic factors. The economic environment consists of those factors that affects the customer's purchasing and spending power. If there is a surplus money in their pocket, then only they will think of purchasing the product, because as we know, the first requirement of a human being is the requirement for food, clothes and shelter. Unless these are satisfied, as far as Maslow's need hierarchy of motivation, no individual will opt for any luxurious items. Roti, kapda and makan. These are the essential key items. Now, if the economy is flourishing, if there is a surplus fund available with the people, then only they will go for a LED TV. Then only they will go for a luxurious car. otherwise no. So, under economic environment, the manager generally studies what is the net GDP, trends of the gross national market, patterns of the real growth in income, variation in the geographical income distribution. It may so happen that in the metro city they are having a huge growth, but the people located in the remote geographical region, in the villages, they are not getting that economic benefit. So, variations in geographical income distribution, borrowing pattern, trends and governments and legal restriction, they are very much important economic factors which are to be considered when we are making our marketing strategy. So, the economic factor consists of those factors which are related to the means of production and distribution of wealth that have an impact on the functioning of the organization. It affects the spending power of the people, very, very important line. It affects the spending power of the people. Further, economic development and growth affects the product choice of the customer. For example, the per capita income, balance of payment position, gross national product, inflation, deflation in the market, they have a very, very significant effect in the marketing of a particular marketing strategy, in fact, for a particular organization. The next factor is the physical factors. The components of physical forces are the earth, natural, renewable and non-renewable resources. What are renewable? The natural renewable resources includes the forest, the food products which are obtained from agriculture, the marine food product like fish, etc. Non-renewable sources includes the oil, coal, minerals, and they are very limited. Both natural as well as this, both renewable as well as this non-renewable resources, they often changes the level and type of resources available to a marketer for his production purpose. Because for production purpose, these both renewable as well as the non-renewable one from nature has a great impact. Next is the technological factor, the one which I was telling you a few minutes back. Advances in technology are an important uncontrollable environmental factor for the marketers in two ways. One, these technological advancements, they are very unpredictable. You cannot tell by standing in 2021 what will happen in 2031. You cannot tell. You have no idea at all. Neither anybody has. So, the first problem with this figure is they are totally unpredictable. And secondly, adoption to the new technology. There are two factors. One, these changes in technology unpredictable. Number two, even if it is predicted, the way to adapt to the new technology is very difficult. They are often restricted by the various constraints imposed by the internal and external resources, because it requires a change in mind, it requires finance, it requires expertise to be developed. But in order to survive, it is mandatory for all of us to make these technological changes. It is a source for newer and better product. For example, advancement in communication and infrastructural technology has changes, a lot of changes taking place in the mobile market. Earlier, one-to-one marketing was very prominent, but nowadays you see gradually we are shifting to e-commerce. In the earlier days, people used to go and stand in a queue in the bank, but with gradual advancement of technology, internet banking, net banking, Paytm, they are the various upgradation in the financial sector. In the earlier days, we used to assemble, even if today we are assembling in a room for a conference, but this corona infection has shown you that lot of conferences can be arranged as e-conferences, webinars. People who are not in a position to travel across from one part of the country to the other, from one geographical region to the other, they are benefited by these webinars and e-conferences which are going on. So, these are the technological advancement. Corona infection has exposed the nation to a great technological advancement. Earlier you used to all of you used to attend the physical classes with the help of chalk and duster, but whenever there was this coronavirus spreading from one part of the nation to the other, almost all of you have to adopt the online mode of attending classes. Digital process of attending the classes has been a change in the technology from the blackboard teaching to the online teaching. These technological factors, most dramatic force now shaping our destiny. These changes are very rapid. You did not take even 2 months to change from the blackboard teaching to an online mode. It creates a new market, new opportunities. So, if you are upgrading yourself, you will be in a position to capture it up. Challenges is to make it more practical, more affordable. Safety regulation results in higher research cost, longer duration between conceptualization and introduction of the product. Once you are conceptualizing a product and then framing that product, putting into the market. So, more faster you can adopt yourself, more is the better. If you are delayed in accepting the change, in upgrading yourself to the technological advancement, it is you who has to suffer, nobody else. Next is the political and legal factors. It includes the laws, the government agencies and pressure group that influences or limit various organizations and individuals in a given society. As I have told you a few minutes back, a change in the government plays a lot of changes in the rules, regulations, guidelines, increasing legislation, changing government agencies, enforcement, more emphasis on the ethics and socially responsible actions. They are all coming under political and legal factors. So, basically political and legal factors are those factors which includes the policies related to the public sector, small scale sector, Sikh industry, export and import, licensing, development of backward areas, the vast government network, of laws and regulations have a maximum impact on the marketing activities. You know, governments are promoting for the development of the rural areas. They are providing lands at a subsidized cost, facilitation of the loans. So, they are giving certain lucrative measures to the company, so that they are going to set up their units there, and whenever they are setting up their units, automatically the other subsidiary industries they will also start developing. So, political and legal factor is a very important macro marketing environmental factors. Next is the socio-cultural factors. It comprises of the society and culture, two terms. If you break, one is society and other one is culture. A society is a set of relationship among people, including their social status and roles. The culture consists of the attitude, the customs, the belief and the values of a society. All these factors, India is a very vast resource where variety of linguistic people are staying. Social responsibility has crept into the marketing literature as an alternative to market concept. Socially responsible marketing is that business firm which should take the lead, eliminating the socially harmful products. As I have told you that our nation has a wide range of geographical ethics, people of various linguistic domain, various cultures, various religions we are staying. So, this is socio-cultural relationship is of this particular factor is very, very important in the current national context. Shortage of raw materials, limited resources of non-renewable sources, increasing population, increasing pollutions, waste disposal and air and water pollutants, increased government intervention and environmental sustainable strategies, they are another important factor as far as this macro marketing environment is concerned. We are now gradually moving from a paper system to a paperless system, just to prevent, just to reduce the pollution which is taking place. A scan of external macro environment in which the firm operates can be expressed as PEST analysis. The acronym PEST, or sometimes rearranged as STEP, is used to describe a framework for analysis of this macro environmental factor. The term is basically an acronym: P political, E economical, S social and T for technological advancement. Now, the objective of this marketing analysis, the class today, we should know where the environment is heading. We should be in a position to discern which events and trends are favorable for us to grow. We should assess the scope of the various opportunities, and lastly, to help secure the right fit between the environment and the business. This is very much vital. That is the reason why this particular topic of market analysis is of tremendous importance. And summary, this organization has no control over the marketing environment. We should accommodate to the change. With this, we are coming to the end of the class for today. Thank you.